On the mat host tonight, Barry Hollis, along with pro wrestling personality and expert Steve Rickard. Well, hi everybody, and welcome to the new season of On the Mat. Oh, nice to have you back with us. Our producer's been really busy over the festive season, getting new titles ready there. Hope you like that. It was rather spectacular, didn't they? We have to say, first of all, starting off this new season, we haven't got Steve with us tonight, mainly because of transport problems. Fog closing airports, things like that. So I have here with me at the commentary spot tonight, Mark Lewin, all the way back after a very, very busy last few months performing live to audiences, mainly in the Pacific region. Right, Mark? Welcome back.
Yeah, I've been into Hawaii and over to the mainland, Los Angeles, and areas like that. And Steve has been with me over there, and we've just been training and getting ready for the world champion who arrives here this Thursday night here in Auckland. In fact, he'll be in earlier in the day and getting prepared for the big championship match that night. There's so many tremendous wrestlers this season, Barry, but I guess we can get back to that as soon as we get rolling. There's plenty of action, eh?
Right, I think first of all, as you've mentioned, the world champion Ric Flair. Here's an interview recorded just a little while ago in America.
It seems that just as America has tried to grasp Ric Flair, now every country in the world wants a piece of the greatest heavyweight champion of all time. So in the very near future, I've made it possible. I've allowed time in my schedule. The promotion over there has offered me fabulous amounts of money, and as we all know, J.J., Ric Flair thrives on money and cars and all the finer things in life that only being the world heavyweight champion can afford us.
You know, Rick, going to New Zealand, I had the privilege of being there a couple years ago, not only one of the most beautiful countries in the world, but the Caliber Wrestling Competition has brought forth some of the current top contenders for your world heavyweight title. I'm talking about Ron Miller, who's the greatest athlete, the greatest wrestler certainly ever to come out of Australia. Mark Lewin, who is no stranger to you. You've seen him in the Orient, and he probably knows you better than any other wrestler in the world. He's in the greatest shape of his life. The young Samoan, Steve Aoki, who Steve Rickard broke into professional ranks, has become an international star in his own right. And, of course, Steve Rickard, New Zealand's own Steve Rickard, he's high on everybody's list of top contenders.
Well, let's look at it like this, J.J. You're an authority on New Zealand. I never have been there. But I'm looking forward to the opportunity. One of the main things that makes Ric Flair go round and round is the top competition that he has to face day in and day out. New Zealand, as I said earlier, is going to pay me a lot of money. So I expect to wrestle the toughest competition they have. Mark Lewin, as you said, a tremendous athlete, a tremendous competitor, and certainly in line for a title shot. Steve Rickard, Ron Miller, Steve Aoki, all great names and recognized in their professional ranks as men that deserve a title shot. So New Zealand, let's look at it realistically. You're going to have an opportunity to see the greatest athlete in professional sports today, the one and only Ric Flair.
Well, our audience here is waiting patiently for tonight's program. I'll bet them, along with the rest of the people in the Pacific region, will be awaiting the arrival of Ric Flair, and we'll feature him here, of course, On the Map. He does arrive in New Zealand this very week, so watch out for the world champion Ric Flair. But now let's take a look at the power of the world champion Ric Flair in action.
Between Peter, Steve, and I, and your whole family, so welcome here, and I hope you'll be able to sign whoever is the next world champion, or if it, by looking at Ric Flair on the tape, you can see that he's a worthy champion, so I'd like you just to feel at ease and at home here, because this is your home, and talk to all of our Samoan fans, okay, Leah?
Thank you very much.
Sister, please.
Thank you. Patulona atu le paia le tunuu Samoa mon tulang fa lupelepeina fa pe fo itunga se ngaina. Ole nei tu la o tau nu mai ai ona ole fa moe na mole stofi ole sempini ole sumale a Mark Lewin mole sempini o Ric Flair Samoa ole fai ngā woa whanene tira mai via ma Mark Lewin, Steve Rickard ole walevan paila so fai nga wo ole talo so mantua le 1979 si inga hali racing pida mai via sa fai email champini olona lua lalde wa toi fai email in sila ole wo te fo en so sila sia ole sa aloma le ne ya fa nene pida mai via ole ne wo so mfaia ma ua o promotinga pi ina I Hawaii fa pe malasunga Steve Ricard Samoa fa moe le tu ole aka tu support ina fa atasi ya Mark Ruin ile as el pole Sophie ile vai.
There we leave Mrs. Maivia. Nice to see her tonight with us in our first program and On the Map. We're broadcasting tonight from the YMCA Stadium in Auckland, New Zealand. And let's go to the first bout on tonight's program and to our affable ring announcer, Max Cryer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 2 versus 1 match. In the blue corner, direct from the USA, it's the Man Mountain. And the Man Mountain's 2 opponents in the red corner, from Samoa, it's Tommy Cheung and Jumping Joe Andrews. Your referee is Jack Kendall.
Well, there's a great start. Man Mountain straight into Jumping Joe Andrews of Samoa. Let's look at this Man Mountain. First time we've seen him here in New Zealand. Oh, this will be nothing. Oh,
Wow, did you see that?
feel that, Mark. Goodness me, do you know much about this Man Mountain?
Well, I don't, but that's I think one of the fastest falls I've ever seen on New Zealand television. Plus, seeing the impressive win by the champion, Ric Flair, which I was very happy to see that Mrs. Maivia was here. She's a friend of all of the wrestling business. Oh, what a splash by Man Mountain. 3. He's gotten both
Another
of them.
That's incredible, Mark.
That's an impressive win. Over 400 pounds. I don't know what that would be in stones, but it was tremendous.
Well, Man Mountain making no race in our first bout here tonight. Tommy Chung and also Jumping Joe Andrews from Samoa. Well, it looks like they've got themselves on their feet anyway at the out of the ring. So a win to Man Mountain. Rather short one to start the evening. But just before we do go for our break here, you haven't been up against Ric Flair yourself, Mark.
No, I've seen him wrestle all over the United States and Asia and all, and I've never had the opportunity because I've always been traveling in the Far East mainly, and he's mainly, this is really his main time down here, and he's demanding such tremendous fees. So, anyway, I'm looking forward to wrestling him, that's for sure.
I'll bet you are too. Right, we'll be back with more action and On the Mat right after this break. Welcome back, everybody, to On the Mat. And just before we go to our second bout on tonight's program, we have another personality to introduce to you from the United States of America, Lars Anderson. Now, he's apparently from the very famous wrestling family, the Anderson family. Is that right, Mark?
Well, that's correct. As you know, I have 2 brothers that wrestle too, my brother Ted and my brother Don, but the Anderson brothers certainly have an international reputation, and the fellows that he's going to be interviewing are the tops in the world in tag team. They are the world tag team champions, and the one fellow, the big one, that's so tremendous. He's a great power lifter in his own country, so I think just take a good look at him. Huh?
Right, let's go and hear now from Lars Anderson.
For those of you that know about world-class wrestling, of course you know who I am. The name is Lars Anderson with my brothers Dean and Ole. We've held the World Tag Team Championships on several occasions, and it's championship time here in New Zealand. That's right. Lars Anderson is here. Ric Flair is on the way. Mark Lewin is here. And standing with me, and I take great pleasure to introduce the World Tag Team Champions, the Mongols. They have signed matches. They have signed open contracts with anyone that wants to step in the ring with them to prove to the people of New Zealand what World Championship Wrestling is all about. These men are the Mongolian World Powerlift Champions. That's right, World Powerlift Champions, the strongest men in the world. As their manager, Ripper Collins, told you several weeks ago, they are here for one thing and one thing alone, that is to annihilate their opponents.
destroy people in the ring. That's right, destroy people in the ring. The people of New Zealand have never seen the caliber of wrestling. Oh, they've seen Mark Loon, they've seen Curtis Iakea, they've seen him, that's right. But now Ric Flair's on the way, and Lars Anderson is here, and the Mongols, the World Tag Team Champions, are here. Yes, world-class wrestling has arrived in New Zealand.
Lars Anderson, well, he'll get into the ring now, and the two Mongols, of course, we'll be seeing them in future programs in On the Mat. We know of their past. We'll be able to see some of their technique in those programs coming up. But now let's go for our second bout tonight, and to ring announcer Max Cryer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a heavyweight match. In the red corner, direct from the USA, it's Mr. Roy Starr. In the blue corner, also direct from the USA, Lars Anderson.
Hey, Mike, that guy reminds me...
Jack Kendall.
That guy reminds me of Kenny Rogers.
Yes, he does look like Kenny Rogers.
Right.
He certainly got the crowd in an uproar, and his connection with the Mongols, you can see, makes an impressive threesome.
Yeah. He's got great presence in the ring. You notice that already.
Ron Starr is quite an up-and-coming athlete, too. He gives him an arm whip into the ropes and a solid knee into the stomach. Does the same thing again, which is a unique way of keeping your man in tight contact. Side headlock, a good bash to the side of the forehead, and Lars Anderson taking over on Roy Starr.
Well, Lars has really taken the fight to him. Roy Starr. Well, what can you tell us about Roy Starr?
Well, Roy, I've seen him in Hawaii, and he was wrestling between Hawaii and the Los Angeles area. He's also made a trip to the Orient, so he's an up-and-coming young wrestler. Of course, the Anderson brothers are world-known. They've wrestled all over Japan, everywhere. In fact, I believe that Lars and his brother Oli were on tour in Japan when there was a title change between Ric Flair and Harley Race, when Flair beat Race.
Well, it says Roy Starr's got to give him back to Lars Anderson, a bit of his own treatment here. And Lars just asking for a bit of time to get his senses back, his thoughts back. Whether Roy Starr's going to give him that time or not. Oh, nice work.
And a drop kick. Just Lars Anderson going. Oh. A little careless there. Oh, a powerful arm drop. A powerful arm drop. When he comes up for the second one, Roy Starr definitely in trouble. Wow, that's the first fall in this duration match taken by the famous Lars Anderson.
Well, that's already in this bout, we've seen some things happen that haven't happened on the mat for a long time. Some powerful stuff there from Lars Anderson.
How about that man Martin Link? Wasn't he something?
Wasn't he something again? Was he what?
I tell you, he's bigger than Abdullah the Butcher.
Well, Mark, don't you get yourself underneath him anytime. Oh, lovely.
Good move, but around Roy Starr. Lars Anderson now seems to be a little bit of trouble himself.
Well, that's right. We see some good work. I have seen some good work from Lars Anderson. But this Roy Starr is no mug at all. Oh, hard into the turnbuckle.
See referee Jack Kendall on the spot there, watching for anything that might cause Lars Anderson to be disqualified. A good strong side headlock by Roy Starr. And
well, I think the crowd loved every minute of that, of Roy Starr getting stuck into Lars Anderson. And he seems to have the upper hand here at the moment. Roy Starr, the upper hand over Lars Anderson to the stage. I think the crowd's really taken to Roy Starr. Both of them got good presence here, and the younger Roy Starr did so well against this member of the world-renowned Anderson family. Lars Anderson nicely out of that one. Now it's his turn to get the upper hand. Nicely to the canvas. There's the bell. There's the bell at the end, and a win to Lars Anderson. Lars Anderson of the USA wins over Roy Starr of the USA, and we saw some great technique there from both these wrestlers. In fact, Lars Anderson getting off to a far better start, but Roy Starr coming back and doing some nice work, and doing some nice countering to get out of those breaks. And he went over the head one time and then landing on his feet. That was lovely to watch. And then coming back and the head going down onto the thighs. So that he took Lars Anderson there in that side headlock, and some nice work there. The crowd just loved. Now, before we leave you tonight, let's go to ringside, and Mark Lewin has got two other very special guests we'll be featuring in On the Mat.
Well, welcome to New Zealand, Susan. I see you have your championship belt, women's championship belt, which you won in Japan. How's it feel to be part of a big card with Ric Flair and the Mongols and Lars Anderson? Everybody's here. I think you flew in from Texas yourself, and you also wrestled in Samoa, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's good to be here in New Zealand, and the trip in Samoa was great and all. But this card that's coming up with Flair and the Mongols, it's going to be one of the best ones to be on.
Well, thanks a million for attending this big championship, hosted championship card. Also, the other girl wrestler that's here is Peggy Anderson. No relation to Lars Anderson, is it?
No, it's Peggy Patterson.
I see. Excuse me. So how do you feel that you'll go against the champion here?
Well, since it's my first time here in New Zealand, I really would like to take the belt home with me, and I'm going to do everything in my power to do it.
Well, I'd say that you've done enough to create a good image of yourself, and good luck in your championship match. I just see that Steve Rickard has entered the building. He's been having a little bit of transport problems coming here. Come on in here, Steve, because you're going to go against the champion. Come on in here and say something.
Well, great to be back in New Zealand. I'll be right there for my championship match against Ric Flair. I'm going to be there really trying to win. I'm sure when Mark gets his challenge here, we're fortunate enough to be the two selected to wrestle the champion in this country, along with Siva Arthi, who was unable to make it. However, Mark and I will try and represent New Zealand to our very best. Thank you.
Okay, so
Well,
I'd just like to say good night.
We've got to be really something, let alone the other action we've got for you. Well, there's some of the stars and just a piece of the wrestling action we have for you in this series of On the Mat. That's all we've got time for tonight, though. On behalf of Mark Lewin, Barry Holland, say good night, everybody, and be sure and join us next week in On the Mat. On the Mat host tonight, Barry Holland, along with pro wrestling personality and expert, Steve Rickard. Good evening, everybody, and welcome from the centre of wrestling in the South Pacific, Auckland, New Zealand. Once again tonight from the YMCA Stadium here in Auckland, New Zealand. And yes, indeed, Steve Rickard is with me tonight. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you, Barry.
Well, we're into a new season, Steve. We've already had our first program here. I'm sorry to hear about the problems you had last week with transport, but you're here with us tonight. And my first thought, Steve, when I came along just last week was, I've never seen so many wrestlers, so many great wrestlers from the country at any one time.
Well, the one thing that is going to happen in this country this year, Barry, there will not be so many matches held in New Zealand. But what the New Zealand Pro Wrestling Association intends to do is bring in a lot of wrestlers at one time. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot of big names, and that's what we've seen here in this last week. And, of course, in the future, throughout the season, there's going to be a very great variety of overseas talent. And I say again, it's going to be big talent.
So don't wait around, folks. Do see them in action. They probably won't be here very long, but there'll be many of them coming. Well, there's some of the crowd that's awaiting the action tonight here at the YMCA Stadium in Auckland. Of course, the real Thank you, folks. The real champion coming out, of course, is Ric Flair. In fact, he is here in New Zealand, and boy, what a champion. What a seen of him so far.
Well, I think I said before he came into the country, Barry, to our television audiences, that we were going to see one of the greatest champions of all time, and we've already seen that in the matches he's had throughout New Zealand. He is a great champion, and of course, he's, as everyone knows, he's a real jet setter with it.
Right. Ric Flair, a man who enjoys all the attention and the fuss attached to being a world champion.
We get thousands of letters asking what really makes Ric Flair tick. And for all those thousands of fans out there that don't know, it's not just the fact that I'm the most finely conditioned athlete in all of wrestling. It's not just the fact that I'm a tremendously wealthy man, that I can have any woman I want. It's the fact that I live a lifestyle never, ever equaled by any other man. My man Sam right here. Check out this limousine. My own Lear jet. And look what I travel with. The most beautiful women on the face of this earth. This is why the world's heavyweight champion. Not Joe Montana. Not Burt Reynolds. Not turkeys like that. But a real man. The world's heavyweight champion. That's what makes me a little different. Come on up here, ladies. Let this camera get a little better look at you. Jan, darling, I didn't expect to see you for another week or two.
Champagne and caviar is ready whenever you are.
Well, thank you very much, darling. Laura, how have you been? You see, ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not, this is what makes Ric Flair tick. Woo! Setting the world on fire. Ladies, we better be off. We don't want to keep them waiting in that next city. Take care now. Remember one thing. Diamonds are forever.
Oh, indeed. Does that man have confidence? That'd be an understatement, wouldn't it? All right, well, let's get to the light section anyway. They're waiting in the ring right now, so let's go to ring announcer Max Cryer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a heavyweight tag match. In the blue corner, from Mongolia, it's Tsar and Gore the Mongolians. In the red corner, from American Samoa, Farmer Boy Ipo, and from the USA, Mr. Roy Starr. Your referee, Jack Kendall.
Wrestling Korea and also Japan. Armbar applied, tag Roy Starr. Last movie Roy Starr, very popular indeed.
Well, Roy Starr certainly made a good impression last week up against Lars Anderson here.
Well, Lars Anderson, the opponent who wrestled Roy Starr last week, also a top-line wrestler known throughout the world. Starr takes over, throws Roy Starr into the corner. Tag score, Gore comes in. Gore pushing Roy Starr back into the turnbuckle. Heavy the knee up. Starr and Gore, two of the roughest wrestlers in tag wrestling today, world heavyweight tag team champion. Roy Starr picking Gore up, slams in, Starr comes in. Referee called for a break as hurls Roy Starr back into the turnbuckle.
Had a heavy one at the turnbuckle. Roy Starr would have felt that.
6'5" and 300 pounds. Certainly a man. As I said earlier, well, there's Man Mountain Link outside the ring.
Have you been up against either of these Mongols, Steve?
No, I have not wrestled either of these wrestlers.
Oh, that's impressive. What about that? Big boy.
Tag to the whip. The referee will not allow it. Right, he's coming back out. Must tag over the top rope. Roy Starr, Japanese arm twist. Makes the Mongolian Tsar to canvas. Gore comes in. Into the knee at the stomach. Big forearm into the back of Roy Starr.
I believe that Gore might have a little nick over the eye there, too. Looks like it's
Can't see the camera got on the eye. If they're to the right of the top right. Taking a smack in the eye. Yeah. Or above it anyway, Barry. Oldie boy Roy Starr, Oregon, USA. Side headlock applied. Man mountain link, 400 pounds. Man mountain link outside the corner, watching intently the way in which the Mongolians are wrestling.
Okay, he didn't make the tag over the top rope there.
Tag over the top rope. There's a clean tag. Farmer Boy Ifa. A big elbow down the back of the neck of Gore. Face lock applied.
Yes, and he's got Gore right in the center of the ring there, so no chance of Gore being able to tag Tsar and get the breakaway from Farmer Boy Ipo.
Farmer Boy Ifa with a very strong face lock applied. Or on his knees. Referee Jack Kendall asks if he wants to give up.
Farmer Boy Ipo is giving up and giving it to Roy Starr to continue the work on Gore.
This is the head and Gore hits the canvas. Starr comes in, pulls Roy Starr away. And Melton Link.
You know, Tsar getting more nervous, just waiting to get into that ring and do something. Yes, another tag. He might get a tag shortly. Yes, there it is now.
Double kick, and Starr hits the canvas. Starr with the legal tag from the stomp after stomp to the back of Roy Starr.
Well, these boys are strong, Steve. Strong men. Pretty formidable force, especially when they're both together in a tag match like this.
Bear hug applied and Starr comes off the rope. Referee asking Roy Starr if he wants to give up. And he looks at him, he's nodding his head and he's given up. Referee stops and up goes the hand of Starr.
Well. Here we are. Referee asked Roy Starr if he wanted to give up. Roy Starr did submit, and so it looks like a win to Gore and Tsar in our first match tonight, our tag match. So Gore and Tsar, get that the right way around. Gore and Tsar up against Roy Starr and Farmer Boy Ipo. Now looks like Roy Starr still feeling a little bit there. They are the champions this time. Gore and Tsar out of the ring. Well, we've got our first look at the Mongolians, and as I said before, a pretty formidable couple. So let's see how that Roy Starr is getting on. He's up onto his feet now, so it looks as though he's okay. So a good win and a bear hug coming from Gore to win our tag match here tonight and the first up on the match. We'll be back with more of the action right after this break. Welcome back to On the Mat, and that's pretty impressive stuff, isn't it, from our two Mongolians, Tsar and Gore, and they'll be a mighty tag team to watch over the next few weeks in On the Mat. So now, before we go to our next bout, let's go to ringside, and Steve is with Mark Lewin.
Well, Mark, early in this tape, we saw what a real jet setter that the world champion Ric Flair is. However, also in New Zealand, we've seen what a great wrestling champion he is.
Well, that's true. The fellow really shows that he warranted the World Heavyweight Championship belt after beating Harley Race. But I do have a win, as you know, over Ric Flair.
Because that win was in a non-title match overseas, Mark, which I think a lot of the New Zealand people realise. I think really the one that was the big upset to you was the one that you actually had won, the match you had won when it was a title bout.
That's right.
Against Flair, and I don't think there's anyone in the world would deny that you had him beaten.
Well, when you actually have your hand raised and you think you are the world champion, it's a heck of a feeling. So that any time in Auckland or Wellington or Hamilton or anywhere that I wrestle Flair now for the world title, I actually know the feeling of being the winner. So I don't know how much money he's demanded here. I really don't know his contract, but I do know that so many promoters, Mrs. Maivia is here, Vince McMahon, Jim Barnett, all the people that are big in the United States, they're here for a positive answer from whoever holds that title.
Well, the big upset was, at least what I should say is, after the big upset in the match where you defeated Ric Flair, that was one of the reasons why he, in fact, demanded such a lot of money to come to this country to wrestle, and why the promoters are here, and as much as they expected a world title change. Anyways, what I'd like to do, Mark, is wish you all the very best.
All right, thank you very much, Steve. And thanks a lot to all my friends that helped me train to get ready for this big one. I've gone through the pain barrier, so Ric Flair, let's see what you can take.
Right.
Thanks a
I
million.
hope you do.
Well, title fights are certainly something not to be missed, and this title fight will be no exception. Well, Mark Lewis now to continuous build-up, so let's go to center ring and ring it out to Max Trial.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the heavyweight bout. In the blue corner, from America, it's Lars Anderson. And in the red corner, the return to the ring of Mr. Mark Lewin. Your referee, Jack Kendall.
Well, Lars Anderson would have had a lot of thoughts about the reputation of Mark Lewin, and seen a lot of Mark Lewin, but certainly heard about how the crowds love him out here in New Zealand, but that will mean nothing to him now that he's in the ring up against him. Certainly a very competent fighter, nice presence in the ring, and a very strong and able fighter wrestler is our Lars Anderson. It's indeed a Swedish name, Lars. Came from his grandparents, I believe, and now, of course, living in the United States of America.
Lars Anderson, one of the brothers of the three Anderson brothers, the famous wrestling brothers, all now wrestling in the United States.
They get together as a tag team, do they, Steve?
Well, certainly. Lars and his brother Ole are the most well-known ones as a tag team. And Mark Lewin, great shape. Man
He's
who
looking good.
coming up against Ric Flair for the world title belt. Incidentally, Barry, one of the biggest cards I think New Zealand will have seen will be in Hamilton this coming Friday. There's actually a world title match, Ric Flair and a world title match against myself, and also a world tag team championship on the same program, plus an international women's championship. That's got to be one of the greatest cards ever seen in New Zealand.
That is, yeah. Well, what is it to watch? So a title bout and a tag team title bout, and the two ladies up against each other.
Well, that's the first for New Zealand, of course, two world title matches in one night.
Well, that's Hamilton this Friday night.
Yes, it is.
How are you feeling? Ready for it?
Well, I am. I've been done a lot of heavy training. I've been overseas, for 3 months with Mark Lewin, who's wrestling there now, and I've been training all the time. Oh, nice turnbuckle there by Mark.
Well, I wish you all the best for it, along with all your fans, Steve, for the title fight this Friday night in Hamilton there.
Referee Jack Kendall not quite quick enough there, and Mark Lewin on top of him. Just the head by Lars Anderson. And another one. Referee moving in, calling for a break.
Lars Anderson coming back, but now Mark Lewin showing that he certainly hasn't lost any of the old style and I think he's looking fitter than when we last saw him here last year on the mat.
Yes, Mark's been really in hard training in the off-season, just knowing that the world title match coming up with he and Steve Arthur and myself have selected. Naturally, all going to heavy training.
Heavy and repetitive fist work is being spoken to by referee Kendall.
Side headlock by Mark Lewin.
I think Mark Lewin's trying to turn him around so that the referee's blind spot. Lars Anderson was trying to do something with the other hand behind Mark Lewin, but such is the lock that Lewin has him in at the moment, and you'll notice he had to bring that hand down once the referee saw it going up the back, and I think he might be trying to pull Mark Lewin's hair. What there is in the back part.
More leverage with the headlock. Anderson goes down.
I remember Lars Anderson last week getting that sort of headlock treatment from Roy Starr, so second week running for him. Maybe more to come.
Right headlock applied.
You see he's really got him there. Inside has Mark Lewin. Really got him jammed in that headlock down the side and unable to do anything with the other hand. He's trying to get it up to Mark Lewin's head. The referee, Jack Candle, is right on the ball, though.
Lewin on the rope. Knee into the stomach. Lars Anderson throws Mark Lewin, the fossil swing.
Oh, right at
Here's
the
the elbow in.
Post feeling it there.
Mark Lewin moves it again.
Crowd giving their instructions as usual.
Knee lift. Anderson in the corner.
Once again, the headlock.
Try the headlock again. Mark Lewin in control.
You see there Mark Lewin dragging him across the ring a little bit, but seems like Lars Anderson unable to do anything with this sort of side headlock hold from Mark Lewin. Referee Jack Kendall goes around the other side. Now he's out. He's out of it. Back comes Lewin. Hard shoulder to the net. Back he goes to the side headlock once again. It's been very effective in this bout anyway. Mark Lewin. Very fit. Title bout coming up. Certainly has to be. Back comes that. And to the side of the head, and out goes Lars Anderson. Not long to go in this match. Not long to go. Lars Anderson now looking at the crowd, but out comes Mark Lewin into the crowd, and he's thrown Lars Anderson into the crowd. And they scatter. The closer Mark Lewin gets to the crowd, the more they love it. Even though that at times that can be dangerous. Well, there's no doubt the crowd right behind him in that action. Their hero Mark Lewin has done it again. See him looking through the ropes. Now Jack Kendall holding his hands up, and it looks as though he has thrown his arms up in all sorts of amazement there, wondering what is happening. But let's have a look at that again, shall we? What happened at the end as Mark Lewin threw Lars Anderson outside the ring. Lars Anderson walking around, looking at the crowd, and then up comes Mark Lewin to have a go at him there. And then really puts the icing on the cake as far as the crowd is concerned. So it looks like a disqualification there in that one as they enter the match outside the ring. Well, that leaves that bout. Now, before we do leave you tonight, let's go to ringside and Steve is with Mark Lewin and Man Mountain.
You can say on it. Well, Man Mountain Link, 400 pounds. So that's where the Man Mountain comes from, with the fantastic size.
That's right. I'd like to make a challenge to this big, bad mongrel, Zora the mongrel. He thinks he's so big and bad. The big, bad mountain man is the one that's bad. I challenge him anytime, any place here in New Zealand for a match, and I will show everybody who the bad one is, because remember, you cannot move the mountain.
Well, I understand that you offer $1,000 to anyone that can pick you up and slam you.
$1,000, that's right.
That also goes to Zara the Mongolian, the 300-pound Mongolian?
Anybody who thinks they can body slam the mountain can try.
It's some challenge, Mark.
Well, you know, I can understand why he makes that challenge, because lifting heavy weights doesn't necessarily mean that you can pick a big man up, because you got a tremendous girth there. So if you challenge him, I'd like to see that one myself. Ric Flair is the main thing on my mind.
Well, of course, I mentioned that before, and of course the big card was the Hamilton one on the Friday night, where I wrestled Flair myself, a world title match. You and Farmer Boy Ipo actually in a tag championship match against the Mongols, the World Tag Team.
That's right. So actually, Ipo and I go against the Mongols, like you say, and you got the big one with Flair. So I just can't see anything but great turnout.
Thanks, Mark. And we'll know all about your $1,000 challenge, too.
Man cannot move mountains. No, so maybe he's right, but well, we can only guess as to which way those particular matches will go. Well, that's it from On the Mat for tonight. Plenty of action for you once again. Do be with us next week, won't you? On behalf of Steve, this is Barry Holland. Good night, everybody.
Good evening, I'm Max Cryer. Welcome to On the Mat. Barry Holland couldn't be with us tonight, but with me is Mr. Wrestling himself, Steve Rickard, who, I believe, has a World Tag Team Championship match coming up soon. Tell us, Steve.
Yes, Max, Mark Lewin and myself have the opportunity of wrestling for the World Tag Team Championship against the holders, the Mongolians.
That's going to be an exciting occasion.
Will be, and hopefully we can take the title.
Well, we wish you luck, Steve. In the meantime, there's another popular name in wrestling that we're going to be seeing soon from Samoa, the fire dance man, Siva Afi. He's returning to New Zealand, isn't he?
He is returning to New Zealand. I saw Siva recently in Hawaii. Of course, he's wrestled all over the world since he left here some 4 years ago.
Before that, before he left with the status that he has now, he was always a protege of yours, wasn't he?
Yes, Siva was my protege. I started him off, I taught him wrestling, and of course, but the big chance he got was overseas, where he got all the experience in the world.
They're still very proud of him in Samoa, though.
Well, they're so proud of Siva that they gave him recognition as a Maasai, and he earned it himself. He's gone to the top all the way, and from what we saw him here in New Zealand 4 years ago, and finally he was selected to wrestle the World Heavyweight Champion in New Zealand, and because of other commitments, couldn't make it.
What we're going to see tonight is a match he had with Jock Ruddock. So now we'll take a look at that match, which streamed some 4 years ago. He fought very well then, and he's come a long way since.
Okay, and the next bout on the evening's card. This is the second event, and it's between Diviati Taragaga and Jock Ruddock. There's two very clever wrestlers, and as usual, Jock Ruddock is in the ring first. Divi getting in now. Jock Ruddock, known as one of the great escapologists of wrestling. They're around about the same weight, these fellows, if anything. Perhaps Siva is a little heavier, but not that much. Very sportsmanlike greeting in the ring there. We've only seen these two wrestle once before, and it was just prior to the telethon last year in Hamilton, when On the Mat went to Hamilton, and they turned on for a very full-founded theatre there. At that time, a fantastic wrestling match. We got a lot of letters about it, and this is the second time they've met since then, and there's no reason to feel that we're going to have a bad one, because we are certainly looking forward to a good one, and we should get one, shouldn't we, Steve?
Yes, and we should see some fine wrestling during this match. Siva, a little heavier than Jock. Both fine wrestlers. Right away, Siva takes it with the stop, throws it across the field, holds on. And again, with his feet, steps across. Nicely to break that move and to counter it. Siva again comes back, switches, holds on to this, and again has Jock on the receiving. Just a nice counter by Jock Ruddock as he came up, stood on Siva's side, to step right across the top and come out down to the move. But again, Siva's in there holding on to it, thinking a little bit ahead and showing that he can also sit down and wrestle that style of wrestling with wrestlers such as Jock Ruddock. You see Jock thinking here, trying to think extra two moves, spins around the ring there, and Siva let go. Oh, Siva right on there. Jock came up to his feet, Siva again, ready to take an arm, as he's coming in to take him over in an arm zone.
Siva was slightly confused with that very quick move
that Jock made, Steve Rickard?
I think he was confused, but he was wise enough to let the move go and then turn around and say, well, I'll catch him as he comes out of it, and he did. There's Jock now, counting again with a head that he looks if he may try and drive Steve with head. No, he's gone right up with that top rope. That's the counter. I was waiting for him to do that right from the start, but he obviously took it as a different move, going right to the top rope and then dropping down under it. Clever wrestling. He was feeling the effects of that as Jock came across, holding on to the head, spins him over, takes a side headlock, going into a bulldog move. He throws his feet on that top rope, he gains support, pushing himself over to drive Steve to the mat. Steve again comes out with another counter, grabbing hold of that head scissors to counter Jock's side headlock, but he knows he comes back, got the opportunity to snatch that wrist again, and he again comes back into the same position as he started this match with, holding on to that wrist, applying the pressure. Good thinking for wrestlers to work on the part where you, as much as possible, try and weaken that particular part of the body, but Jock takes Steve up into an aeroplane spin position, right up, and he takes him over to the mat. Again, Steve holds on to that wrist, pulling Jock over as he counters the move.
These two giving referee Chris Miller an easy job. No problems at all. He's just got to get in there and watch what's going on. There's some good wrestling going on here. Hasn't had to give a warning so far at all, and probably should not have to during the whole match. Some very good wrestling coming from these two very fine and fit wrestlers.
Nice move by Jock. He's trying to get around to come in. He lifts, followed by another one. That drop kick by Jock, seldom seen. It's a very good drop kick, landing on the chest of Siva Afi.
The sort of thing that we'd expect from Siva Afi himself. Drop kick's a very, very good drop kick, opponent.
You might expect that the stock actually came down across the back. There's a nice sunset flip move here. Count of two, and no, Siva comes up, comes into a bridge over the top of Jock, and there's a count of three, and it's all over. Siva was just one move ahead of Jock on that. Jock went for that concept of pinning position, but Siva come out on top to counter that move with a reverse flip and to hold the shoulders of Jock to the mat. Count of three, and the match goes to Siva Afi.
That was Siva Afi some years ago, putting up a very impressive match there against Jock Ruddock, but it was some years ago. I gather he's developed a lot since then.
He's developed tremendously, Max. He's gone so far that he's, well, as I say today, he's in world class.
So when we see him in New Zealand, he'll be a far more mature wrestler than he was in those early days.
Mature and also a lot bigger and stronger man.
You mentioned that the Samoans have given him the rank Matai, which is a word I don't know. Is that an aristocratic chieftainship? Is it?
Yes, it is, yeah. And he was given that rank because of his greatness in the rest of the world.
Well, we'll be seeing him in New Zealand, and Siva Afi wrestled so well the year we just saw that he fought a match with the then world champion Harley Race, and Ernie Leonard and Steve Rickard were there to introduce that one.
So the young Siva Afi Tagaga gets one of the biggest chances of his career. He's actually going to be seen here wrestling the world heavyweight champion Harley Race.
Wow, well that's really something.
I must tell you, this is not a title match, though, of course, but it is it's a great honour for anyone to go in against the world champion.
What a wonderful opportunity for him. You know, I think he's really earned it because his wrestling over the last 12 months has improved tremendously. He's up against a very tough man, we know that. It'll be a tough man to be the world champion.
Well, Race, one of the greatest champions of all time, and so I think Siva is in there to really up against something. He's certainly going to get a lot of experience, and who knows, maybe he'll come out with his hand raised.
All right.
Siva Afi Tagaga, there it is, the prize of wrestling, the biggest prize in wrestling, the World Heavyweight Championship belt. Harley Race wears it proudly. brilliant moving of the world champion. Steve not quite sure, but then Steve comes off there with a lovely hip toss. Picks Race up for a high body slam. He goes down for a cover, looking for a count here, but the count of one, and Race is up.
Hergaga starting very, very well indeed.
Steve Arthur holding on to that side headlock. Race rolls Hergaga onto his shoulders, looking for a fall. Another two by referee Miller, and Hergaga throws himself back over, holding tightly on that headlock.
The sheer strength of the world champion can roll the Samoan lad right back onto his shoulders, but on each occasion, Siviapi Hergaga has been able to get back into balance and keep that headlock on the world champion Harley Race.
Deva holding on to that headlock, and against the best in the world, an opportunity for such a young wrestler. Harley Race takes Steva high. Steva's once again holding on to that headlock to take Harley over onto his shoulders. Referee count of one, and Race forces himself off. He takes Steva around the waist to force his shoulders to the mat. The count of two. Steva's just holding on to that headlock, trying to keep the upper hand during this match. 4 minutes remaining.
Hergaga showing a lot of confidence in here. He's not overawed by the fact that he is in the ring with the world champion. He knows that the world champion is a tremendous wrestler, and there's proof of it. There's proof of it. Siviapi Hergaga quite dazed by that sudden move of the Harley Race. And the Harley Race driving his knee into the shoulder of Siviapi Hergaga. And there it goes again. Onto the forehead this time.
Harley Race knows all the moves of his trade. Looking for a suplex move here to take Steve over. Getting himself set. Very cunning wrestler. Takes it to suplex beautifully. Comes over looking for the cover. Count of three. Hergaga throws off.
There's still a little bit of life left in the Samoan boy. He managed to throw Harley Race off. A bit of thumb work here went in by Harley Race there. It is back to the referee, but referee Chris Miller saw that one. He's warned Harley Race.
Race throwing Hergaga across the ring, and Hergaga switches the thing to throw Race into the corner and driving fist after fist into the stomach of Race. Now he's racing again. He goes up, looking for a drop kick, but Race, the cunning wrestler Race is a very clever Race, moves out of the way. Steva comes down onto his back, and Harley Race driving the knee into the forehead of Siviapi Hergaga. Hergaga looking in trouble. Race picks him up, looking for his favourite move, suplex move. He takes him high above his head.
Here's a pile driver. Is it going to be a pile driver? No, it's not.
Suplex by Race. Race takes him over for that very high suplex, looking for the count, and the count of three. Harley Race, world heavyweight champion, the winner of this match. Too experienced for Siviapi. But Siviapi in there, not giving up any part of the match, trying all the way, but the experience of a fine champion wins out.
Siviapi doing well against Harley Race, who was the then world champion. Well, recently Steve Rickard spoke to Siviapi in Hawaii. Siva was disappointed at not being able to reach Ric Flair here in New Zealand, but he is looking forward to coming back to New Zealand very soon.
Well, you see, Steve, I start from New Zealand. I start from you, and I'm very eager to go back to New Zealand. But I turned down something that I always dream about, and I always wanted that one day I come against a world champion. It's my big ambition, like everyone else.
Well, that is the shot. To hold that title in our wrestling world, to hold the World Heavyweight Wrestling Championship is the same as a boxer wants to hold the World Heavyweight Boxing Championship and any other world champion. I'm quite sure that you, the one great Samoan that we all knew, of course, was a great friend of all of us, and it was Peter Maivia. And Peter, of course, came close to taking that title from Harley Race. He never got the opportunity to wrestle Ric Flair, unfortunately. However, you yourself
are going to take over where Peter left off, and we're going to try and take that title back at some time, and I only hope we do get another opportunity. Well, to see you and Peter with showing me everything and helped me on my career. And whatever Peter left, I'll try my best to take over from there. And who knows, maybe one day there will be a Samoan world champion. I certainly hope so, Steve, and I look forward to seeing you back in New Zealand.
That was Steve Arthur with Steve Rickard in Hawaii. We'll be back after this break, and when we come back, we'll be looking at part of their recent World Championship match between Ric Flair and Mark Lewin. See you then. Welcome back to On the Mat. A few moments ago, we saw Steve Rickard with Steve Arthur in Hawaii, but Steve, I believe you say that we couldn't see his full development in that short interview, but he's a much bigger man now than he was then.
Well, he's a much bigger man, Max, and also, I think like we saw his match with Harley Race, Siva has since then reversed that decision and defeated Harley Race. Not only that, he also fought his way to the top, defeating most world contenders.
Well, speaking of world contenders, I wasn't able to be present at the championship match between Ric Flair and Mark Lewin, but you were there, were you not?
I was certainly there.
An exciting night.
And one of the greatest matches you could ever wish to see. The thing about the match is the controversial ending to the match. The rule over the top rope, which is not applied in New Zealand, but must apply to World Championship Wrestling. And through that rule, Mark Lewin, although he had the belt in his hand, he lost it.
Well, here now is that match, and as Steve said, you watched for the controversial end. We'll take up the action about midway through the fight.
2 minutes into round 6 in this World Heavyweight Championship match. The world champion Ric Flair outside the ring, the challenger Mark Lewin inside the ring. Mark Lewin right on top of this match. He threw Ric Flair through the ropes. Ric Flair is still outside the ropes. The crowd going absolutely wild. There's been almost a 50-50 support for both wrestlers, but over the last 2 or 3 rounds, the support has switched to Mark Lewin. Very early in the bout, Ric Flair right on top, working on the left leg of Mark Lewin, and I thought at that stage that Mark Lewin wouldn't come back, but he's recovered, he's come back, he has the world champion at his mercy outside the ring, the account being applied to Ric Flair at this stage. Is he going to get back into the ring and complete this match? Mark Lewin raring to go, the crowd with him, here he comes, back onto the apron. Oh, Lewin put his head right into the corner post, and Ric Flair very, very groggy indeed, still outside the ring. Oh, he's bleeding at the head. He's come back, and my word, he's not happy at all about the treatment that Lewin meted out to them. There they are in the center of the ring now. Both punching it. Down goes Flair. Lewin going in. Got him by the hair. Flair in bad condition. He's bleeding very, very strongly from the head. And you can see the stain on his hair. And Lewin punching that wound of Ric Flair. And it certainly looks as though Ric Flair is in real trouble. At this stage, Ric Flair is 1 fall up in a 3-fall match. He's stunned. Lewin has him in his mercy. Here's the sleeper. He has the sleeper on. Will Flair be able to get out of this one? Lewin with his favorite hold, the sleeper. Flair going down. Can he reach the ropes to try and get out of this hold? Lewin holding him back. He's reaching for the ropes. He can't quite make it. Lewin holding him back. He can't hold the ropes. He's still out getting the ropes. He's going. It looks as though Lewin has got the hold. The crowd going absolutely mad. Referee holding Flair's arm up. There it is. White limp. Falls to the bell. There's a fall from Mark Lewin. And so Mark Lewin equalizes. Ric Flair 1 fall. Mark Lewin 1 fall. In this, the end of the 6th round, in a best of 3-fall World Championship match. The World Champion Ric Flair, the challenger Mark Lewin. Well, that's the end of the round. Well, Mark Lewin really has come back very, very well indeed. Here he is He's bringing Ric Flair out of the sleeper hold with a familiar slap on the back. That's it. Flair looks to be recovering. Yes, indeed, he does. And he thinks he's still wrestling, of course. Didn't hear the bell while he was out. The referee trying to part them, trying to get him back in his corner. So Ric Flair bleeding rather heavily from the head. Oh, Mark Lewis hit him. This is between rounds. He's been warned. He must hold off until the start of the 7th round. Well, he's kicked him on the head. This is not like Mark Lewin. Mark Lewin is known to us as a sporting wrestler. There goes the bell for round 7. Round 7, and Mark Lewin really on top. And Ric Flair, with all the experience that he has, it's made him world champion, whipping the feet out, whipping the feet of Mark Lewin out from underneath him, and now giving Mark Lewin a bit of a treatment. But Mark Lewin coming back. There he goes. Onto the rope. Here we over the sleeper again. Crowd going absolutely wild. Oh! Well, Ric Flair came in with a hard elbow to the midsection of Mark Lewin, and Mark Lewin really felt that. It's given Ric Flair a little bit of time coming to his feet now, because my word, he looks as though he's going to get the sleeper again, and it wouldn't have taken too much to put Ric Flair out, but there it is, a timely elbow to the midriff of Mark Lewin, given time to recover. They're both pretty groggy. They're in round 7, both pretty groggy. Oh! Well, that was a sneaky one from Mark Lewin. Very sneaky one. Oh, and Flair thrown a punch which missed by miles, and Lewin retaliated with a short right to the jaw. And down goes Flair again. Well, I wonder just how much punishment Flair can take. Oh, he's quite an irate, and my word, he's got him too. All over the top. He hit the referee, and out was Jack Kendall is out of the ring. Jack Kendall is out of the ring, stunned. Mark Lewin has Flair up over his head. He's pinned him. There's no referee in there to count. No referee in there to count. Lewin looking over the ropes, coming back to Flair, chopping him on the head. Flair chops him to the eyes. Both two very tired men. Oh, and Flair's out. Flair's out of the ring. Flair's out of the ring. Jack Kendall coming back into the ring. Here we go. Mark Lewin has him by the trunk. Over he goes. A suplex. And down he goes. And my word, I think that's the end of Ric Flair. There it is. 1, 2, 3. And Mark Lewin is the winner and becomes the world champion. Mark Lewin, the winner, becomes the world champion. Absolutely jubilant scenes here at the YMCA in Auckland. Mark Lewin holding the belt high. Mark Lewin, the winner. My word, there's a consultation of referees. Let's have a look at this. There's a consultation of referees. One of the referees is telling Mark Lewin that he is not the champion. He has indicated that Mark Lewin threw Ric Flair, that's it, threw him over the top of the ring. Those are the championship rules. He threw him over the top rope, and so he has been disqualified. There's the announcement. Scenes of confusion here. Mark Lewin has been disqualified. Well, you heard the announcement. The crowd do not like it. Mark Lewin has been disqualified. Ric Flair is still the world champion. Well, what hard luck for Mark Lewin. He is not happy at all. He's shaking his head, waving his arms about. He feels he's the world champion, but that is right. He did throw Ric Flair over the top rope, and so he's taken the world championship belt. He's taken off right through the crowd. Well, that is not going to do him any good. He does not win the championship. He does not win it. Ric Flair is still the world champion, and that's the result. That's the result. It doesn't matter how disappointed the crowd is. Lewin has been disqualified for throwing Ric Flair over the top rope. So Ric Flair, still the world champion.
Great match, and certainly a controversial ending.
There's certainly controversy ending Max, and also we have another ending to the on the mat, and that is the association with Ernie Leonard, a great man, a great friend of ours, and after 8 years, Ernie is departing as producer to On the Mat, and I personally, I'm sure you do, and everyone else, wishing him all the very best of luck.
We'll miss him. I'll add my voice to yours, Stephen, say that Ernie Leonard may be going from On the Mat, but he certainly won't be forgotten. Well, that's On the Mat for tonight, and tickets for Friday's recording this week are available at our Shortland Street reception, but do hurry because there's a limited number available only. Barry Holland will be back with you next week, so be sure to join him on the Mat. Good night.
On the Mat host tonight, Barry Holland, along with pro wrestling personality and expert Steve Rickard. In this World Pro Wrestling program from the Pacific, Roy Starr meets fellow countryman Lars Anderson. From our video library, more action of top Samoan Steve Afa. Steve Rickard talks about that mean man Leduc. Mark Lewin is still steaming about the world title fight and tells us why. And Tsar the Mongolian demonstrates his awesome strength. But to open this action program, two lovely ladies from the USA. Peggy Patterson after Revenge and after Sue Green.
Peggy Patterson. Sue Green takes Peggy's canvas and an arm drag, and another one. Arm bar by Sue Green. Peggy Patterson throws her off. One to the midriff. Flying mare. And Sue Green hits the canvas again.
That was heavy.
Peggy Patterson with a forward headlock, and Sue Green forces her into the ropes, and the referee calls for a break. Monkey flip, Japanese monkey flip by Sue Green. Forward headlock. Referee Chris Miller trying to move in, trying to break the girls, order them out of the corner. Patterson on the rope. Kick to the stomach by Peggy Patterson. Sue Green on canvas. Another hard one, and Sue Green off the canvas again. Flying mare and Patterson. Patterson looking for a cover. Peggy Patterson and Sue Green. Sue Green, International Women's Champion. Applies a side headlock.
Well, she's showing it here, Steve, but it doesn't seem to need that extra weight.
No, she's giving away quite a lot of weight, but she has control of this match.
Sue Green very much in control.
All with the side headlock applied. Patterson takes Green high in the air. Head scissors.
Knocked you out of that one, Steve. What another heavy one to the chest.
Patterson coming to her feet. Sue Green already up. Kick to the stomach by Peggy Patterson. And Sue Green on the canvas again. Body slam. Nice body slam. And a cover. Look, this could be a fall. No, count of one. Maybe forearms to the back. Sue Green goes for a drop kick. Peggy Patterson moves back, and Green misses a drop kick. flying mare. And the big axe flies through green. There goes the bell and the end of the match. The referee's decision, a draw.
I think the Sioux Green really had control of that match, and the drop kick that she misses might have just been the undoing for her.
I think so too, Barry. You see the heavy slam, and here you've got Peggy Patterson covering Sioux Green almost for the winning fall. Sioux Green coming up off the canvas, and Peggy Patterson also come in and swings a heavy forearm down over the shoulders, trying hard to recover. Here she is with that Japanese stomach throw, taking, there's that drop kick. And Peggy Patterson steps away, and Green hits the canvas.
Just about everyone is talking about the world title fight between Ric Flair and Mark Lewin, in which Lewin won and then lost the title on a disqualification. Now, Lewin, as you can imagine, is still devastated.
He certainly could have bolted me over with a feather. I was so elated, you know. There the moment was with the belt in my hand, and I was the world heavyweight champion. And then to have it taken from me was just in awe, because I had the feeling of the 1, 2, 3 on Mr. Ric Flair. So now it's just getting back there, because once you've beaten somebody, you know, that feeling of being ahead is there. And I definitely feel, you know, that part of it anyway. I didn't get to buy the Mercedes-Benz or the Rolls-Royce yet, but I know I can beat Mr. Ric Flair.
Like, these opportunities don't come very often. When do you think you'll get another crack at the title then?
Well, of course, it's up to the NWA. They're investigating it. Of course, we do have a film of it, you know, which you saw last week here in New Zealand, showing me beating the world champion. And there was quite a few promoters that had flown in because they felt there would be a title change. I've used every bit of positive thinking, you know. I've gone through the pain barrier. I know what kind of condition I'm in. And I'm just going to keep on, you know, if you knock on the door long enough, someone will answer.
The echoes of that match are going to be heard for a long while yet. Talking of bad moments, during my last visit to the East, I ran into none other than Joe LeDuc. Remember, he was banned from New Zealand after that terrible free-for-all out of the ring. Watch this.
Ricky Rickard goes into Joe LeDuc again to have another go. Joe LeDuc. All sorts of nasty tactics going on here, Steve.
Yeah, Ricky's in there. LeDuc's in there. Who's legally in there? Must be Ricky and Joe LeDuc. And Ricky takes LeDuc, pushes him back. No, picks him up for body slam. Slams in. Covers him. He should be looking for another tag here. What's the tag? Must have made the tag. We didn't tip. He must have made the tag. The tag Mark Lewin. Mark Lewin with a sleeper slide. Brannigan comes in. And Miller. And Lewin throws Brannigan into Miller. And Brannigan takes over on Brannigan. Baker's got Miller on the rope. Ricky Rickard in there with a Duke in the corner. 6 men in the ring at one time. Action plus action. Throws them there legally. The referee didn't account, blind account, telling someone to leave, but who he's telling, no one knows. Bob Miller throws Ricky out of the ring. Joe LeDuc and Joe LeDuc and Bob Miller. No. They double post Ricky. Ricky hits the floor. Ricky hits the floor for a double posting. We've had a lot of inquiries as to what happened to my son Ricky. Ricky is now playing rugby, softball, and many other sports. He's given wrestling away for a short time, and hopefully we'll see him back in the ring again.
Ring action continues with the Battle of the Yanks, Roy Starr and Lars Anderson.
That should be a good one, Steve.
Locking up with Lars Anderson. Anderson takes down the ropes and pulls him out for a flying mare. Anderson, fostering, comes down, looking for the big axe, but Starr moves out of the way. Body slam heavy one to the chin. Lying there. Face bar. Anderson turns Starr around. Brings the knee up into the stomach. Another big knee by Anderson. Anderson not giving Starr any opportunity at all in this match. Referee warning Anderson for using a closed fist. Another heavy one to the chest by Anderson. So far, Roy Starr has done nothing in this match. No call to take Starr to canvas, and Anderson behind with a face-up and a heavy fist to the chest.
A lot of warnings from the referee, Steve.
Yes, he has had a lot of warnings, Barry, and the referee, of course, watching intently. Elbow. Starr still not in this match at all. Anderson looking for a figure four leg lock. There's a figure four leg lock, and this is an almost submission hold. The referee calling for the bell. There must be submission. Figure four leg lock, and Chris Miller, the referee, ordering Anderson to break. And he will award a fall to Anderson. The referee, holding Anderson away. And Roy Starr obviously submitting to the figure four leg lock, and it is a win to Lars Anderson.
Well, Steve, Roy Starr never got a look in on this one after Lars Anderson working on his head most of the time, then managed to get it on the hole with the leg.
No, he did not get a look in Barry, but when Lars Anderson applied the figure four leg lock, of course, it was almost certainly all over. But Lars Anderson just took over from the start of the match, stayed on top all the way through. And when finally the end came, Roy Starr submitted to the hold. Anderson even then failed to break the hold, and the referee had to order him away from it.
And here he is just about coming into that right now.
There was the big elbow,
The elbow.
Starr hit the canvas. Now this is it here now. You can see as Anderson steps across to apply the leg bar, and he steps right across the top of him to come out with the figure four leg lock, and here it is, the figure four, which is, as I say, almost a certain submission hold.
Coming up, Siva Apa and the awesome strength of Tsar the Mongolian. The Mongolian Tsar and Gore are an international tag team of repute, a combined weight of 650 pounds. And add to that the strength of Tsar, a world powerlifting champion. Well, he shows us what it's all about with over 500 pounds on the bar.
You have about 5.25, maybe 5.30. It's quite light for my brother. You'll be just doing this to warm up. And you'll be doing a number of repetitions. After he gets done here, you'll be going into doing the curl, which you'll probably do about 2.25, 250.
So you're saying that you're going to use 500 pounds to warm up with. I mean, 500 pounds is like a maximum lift, you know, to most people in the world of powerlifting.
To most people it is, but not to us. 500 pounds is just a light warm-up for us.
Well, I'm interested. Let's see what happens then. Now, how many days a week do you work out? And
We train 7 days a week.
This is 500 pounds.
500 pounds. Easy.
Really, this is incredible. Incredible. How many times does he do this? He does this every day?
Every day. Every day he does this.
What is the maximum poundage that he can make?
Pounded well over 800 pounds by himself.
This is amazing. I guess now this is it's an awesome weight as far as I'm concerned. We're now going to see a demonstration of curling. Is that not true?
Yes. That'll help me take some of these weights off. Very easy, as you can see. Nothing.
This is the biceps are like 21, 22-inch arms.
22-inch arms. 22-inch arms. Look at them shoulders. Look at that chest. The man is awesome. The man is awesome.
Lars Anderson is an American who is more than quietly confident of his own ability.
I've traveled all over the world. I'm the greatest professional wrestler in the world of wrestling, and to prove it, I put up $2,000 to any man that can defeat me in 3 rounds, and there's not a man in the world that can do it. You know, I ran Peter Maivia out of Europe, and I would have run him out of New Zealand, except for the fact that the man died of fear. But now, his cousin, Siva Afi, is after me. He wants me. Well, I'll tell you one thing. You know, this is Steve Rickard's protege, you know, this Polynesian goof. I'll tell you one thing. There's not a Polynesian in the world that's going to defeat me. You know, I don't like those people. They're lazy and they don't belong in the wrestling business. See, Afi, don't come after this money because you won't get it. You'll get a beating of your life. You understand that beating of your life? And Link, the fat man that I carried all over the world. That's right. He wants me. Link, you're a fat farming fool. Stay out of my business. Stay out of my business.
Siva Afi is a Samoan who should be given another chance at Flair's title. He's coming to New Zealand shortly during his Pacific tour to get into shape. Here's a flashback from our video library of his style and class. Siva with a hammerlock applied to John De Silva. John trying to counter his way out of it. He twists underneath Siva Afi, looking for the counter. Siva, now a fine young wrestler in his own right. John De Silva, the more experienced. Siva right in there all the way. Siva with youth on his side. John with a flying mare takes Siva over, and Siva holds on to that hammerlock, applying the pressure. Again, John goes for a counter with a flying mare, but Siva's still holding on to that hammerlock, countering nicely. Holds the advantage. John counters the hold now with the Japanese wristlock applied on Siva Afi. Siva counters with a hip toss. Now takes John over with a forward headlock, taking him to canvas, looking for a count here. Counter 2 as John throws off.
6 minutes to go in this match.
Siva, obviously the faster of the 2 wrestlers. He holds John in a wrist lock. John with the experience and weight on his side. Head scissors by Siva Afi. Siva applying the pressure. Legs locked together. Minutes remaining. Siva with a arm bar on John De Silva. Takes Siva up for a body slam, and Siva still holds on that arm and comes out again with one move ahead of John and comes out with that counter. Siva playing a very cunning game here, not taking the match to John.
You know, my only ambition is to become a champion. And there's nothing to stop me. I could have a crack at any title.
Gong goes referee Chris Miller, brings Teo Gaga and Calvin Steiger to center ring.
Break the hole immediately.
Calvin Steiger, 2 headlocks, comes down to a hammerlock, and he's covered with another hammerlock by Siva Afi.
Sivarapi Taugaga, a man that's improved tremendously, gone from strength to strength over the last couple of years. Very fast wrestler, and now a very clever wrestler. And teaming up with Jack Claiborne, we should see some fireworks from these two fine wrestlers.
Sivarapi applying the pressure.
And the crowd liking it very much.
Sivarapi still with the hammerlock applied. Converts to an armbar. Taugaga tags Claiborne. Claiborne comes in, takes over the same hold. Good teamwork.
And the crowd like that one, but Sivarapi really should move in there. He had them off balance. He should have moved straight back in. There's a chance for a tag.
Sivarapi now arm dragging both the Von Steigers. First Kurt Von Steiger goes down to 2 arm drags, then Karl Von Steiger, and they both leave the ring.
Terence Garvin telling them to settle down there. They're going to pick up a chair and get into the ring, but he's thrown it down. Terence Garvin telling them to get back in there, talking to Sevi. Referee Chris Miller counting. 1 minute to go in this round. Taugaga going very, very well in this tag match.
Headbutt by Sivarapi. Throws the head of Kurt Von Steiger into the turnbuckle. Steiger coming over, coming back and taking over on Taugaga. Only 30 seconds remaining in this first round of this tag match. Referee calling for a break. Stever takes and Steiger over in a very neat package for a near pin. The referee with a count of 2 breaks it and the gong goes. This is Kurt Von Steiger comes into the ring, but there's Stever in another position to get a pinfall, but the gong had gone. The referee must break the hold. The referee calling for a break with Kurt Von Steiger's pinned cleanly to the mat.
Talo for Samoa. Dano Pia. Pasia for Mayo told Neyasu. Roman we are for my toe. A whole time we don't why la meet is a fight. Veya umsita champagne wa tato pere Samoa.
And that's all the on-the-mat action from World Pro Wrestling. Well, we started with the ladies. Let's end it that way. Remember this wrestler? Yes, it's Sabrina, with a 52-inch bust, shapely figure, and the ring power to match. But alas, fans, sadly, retired and living quietly in New Zealand. Well, that's it. Join me and Steve at the ring next time. Host tonight, Barry Holland, along with pro wrestling personality and expert Steve Rickard. In this World Pro Wrestling program from the Pacific, we see Roy Starr tangling with Tsar the Mongolian. We talk about the return of Coconut Willie and watch some action of this bubbling personality in the ring. But first, it's Lars Anderson of USA and the Samoan Tommy Cheong.
Tommy Cheong searching the ring, and Lars Anderson locks up, pulls him in against the rope, drives the forearm into the chest, another one onto the back, twist to the head. Referee Jack Kendall warns Lars Anderson. away by Anderson. And Anderson picks Tommy Chiang up, drops him across the top rope. Illegal move, and again the referee would warn Anderson. Free elbow. Young hits the canvas. Twist to the chest. Another heavy one.
See, what can a man like Tommy Cheong really do against a man like Lars Anderson?
Well, there's no doubt about him, Barry. He's non-stop. He doesn't give any opportunity at all. He's in there right from the outset, drives his man down, stays on top of him. He's driving that elbow into the chin there, as you can see, and all he wants to do is punish his opponent all the time.
Extremely unrelenting.
Tommy Cheong in trouble. Still done nothing in this match. Referee warning Anderson back, telling him to go back to the corner. Crowd going wild. Tommy Cheong waits here. Anderson comes in. Tommy Cheong tries to block him, but Anderson in on him again. Fires a forward headlock. Drives Cheong to camera. Oh, you're going to hear that one from here. Cheong up. Anderson moves in again. Another heavy one to the chest. Forearm to the back. Tommy Cheong trying to fight his way back. Anderson over the top of him again. Looking for a count of three. Puts the elbow into the face of Tommy Cheong. How much more of this can he take? Referee warning Lars Anderson to break, and illegal hold, obviously. Now he has a strangle. The referee again warns Lars Anderson.
I can only imagine what that must feel like, that elbow going across the face like that, the face of Tommy Cheong.
Well, he's just trying to punish Cheong all the way.
Absolutely.
And behind him again, takes the headlock. There goes the elbow into the side of the face again.
Continually searching for ways to punish now.
Man Mountain Link at ringside. Man Mountain Link steaming at Anderson. Anderson taking no note. A call of Link as he drives Young back into the rope.
Lars Anderson saying to Man Mountain, stay out of it.
Anderson in behind again with a face lock. There's Man Mountain Link. Anderson drives another stick into the chest of Tommy Cheong. Man Mountain watches, and Anderson falls to Man Mountain.
Well, this is amazing. Lars Anderson's able to continue this fight. Now the concentration is on Man Mountain. A little vocal bantering between the two.
Early top. Anderson looks to be going to position again, looking for the figure four. He has applied it again. Figure four lock. Leg lock applied. There goes the gong. The referee has stopped the match. And the winner of the match, Lars Anderson. The winner by a fall, Lars Anderson. And Link goes over, and Anderson takes the 20 bottle off Link. Hits Young in the back with it. Referee raises Anderson's hand. Anderson beckoning to Man Mountain outside the ring. And this is about the downfall or towards the finish of Tommy Cheong in this match. Anderson beat on him all the way through, and finally, blow after blow, drove Cheong's canvas, and then Anderson steps across, applies his specialty hold, the figure four leg lock, and secured a submission fall, and it was all over for Tommy Cheong.
You seem really mad about something at the moment.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I don't like fat farmers running around the world with bogus checks saying that they're going to put up $1,000 if anybody can slam them. The fat farmer and his bogus fish. Don't get around here. Get out of my face. You're a fat farmer with a bogus fish. I've got cash dollars. Cash dollars, you understand? Cash dollars, not bogus fish. You stay out of my business. Get out of here.
Quit running every time I get out here. Hey!
Take him on a lumberjack match.
Lumberjack match!
Lumberjack match. You got people around the ring. There's no reason for a match like that. I have never taken a backward step in my life. And I never will. You understand that? I have never taken a backward. Don't push me, fat man.
Let me tell you something, big face. If I don't take care of you, Steve Austin will take care of you.
Steve Austin is not going to take care of anybody. You fat man, you want a lumberjack match? Bring your boots and trunks. You bring your boots and trunks. You bring them. You understand what I'm saying? You bring them. It doesn't matter if it's in New Zealand, in Hong Kong, Singapore, San Francisco, Honolulu, Tahiti, Samoa, Tonga, Alaska. It doesn't matter, fat man. You bring them. Nobody's going to harass me. Nobody's going to harass me.
Well,
but I'll tell you what.
Keep you from running all the time.
I'll tell you one thing, fat man.
Tell me.
I'll tell you.
Tell me, big face.
You ain't going to be around. You won't be around for a lumberjack match with me.
I'll be around all the time.
Our second World Pro Wrestling match tonight sees the might of Tsar the Mongolian trying to match it with Roy Starr of USA.
And Roy Starr comes up again. And Mongolians are, they lock up at the referee's hold. Starr takes a wrist lock. Starr finds it. And the Mongolians are just throw Starr off it. World powerlifting champion, Tsar Mongolian. You can threw Starr off like a baby. Starr again applies an over the top of this lock. Starr pushing it right, runs this heavy forearm into the chest of Roy Starr. Arm drag, rush move by Starr, and another one. Very quick moving, and he takes Tsar to canvas.
Quickness will be something very handy for him against someone like Tsar, Steve.
Well, 300 pound, as I say, world powerlifting champion. It's a lot to handle. And Tsar throws Starr into the turnbuckle. Follows through with a big knee. Well, there we go. Referee ordering Tsar to break. Running out of the corner. Tsar looking trapped in there as his big shoulders of Tsar pound away at his midriff. Flying bear. Tsar with the face lock applied. Tsar holding on to this face lock. And a heavy stomp to kidneys and another one. Roy Starr looking to be in trouble. Starr drags him to his feet. Lifts him up for a body slam, but he doesn't. He drives him into the turnbuckle. Upside down in the turnbuckle. And just throws him away like a piece of paper.
Yeah, that way does nothing to the Mongol. The way to Roy Starr, nothing.
Who had a heavy one? Starr's head dives into that turnbuckle. trouble. Heavy knee goes into the midriff again. Referee Jack Kendall pulling for a break.
That man's like a human battering ram when he gets going.
He's certainly a powerhouse, this Zar the Mongolian. Zar hits the canvas. Heavy stomp as Mongolian comes in again on top of Zar. Zar lined up to the rope, and Zar brings that knee into the stomach.
You see two and the lights go on Zar. He's hardly worked them alive.
Zar throws Zar into the ropes and catches him coming off with a bear hug. Bear hug applied by Zar. And the referee calls for the bell. Submission falls to Zar. And the winner of the match, Zar the Mongolian. Zar throwing Roy Starr into the ropes. He waits for him, brings the big knee into the stomach. He drives a foot into the kidneys, and the Starr comes up. Zar takes him again, throws him across the ring, into the ropes, another knee, and this is just about the downfall of Roy Starr. Zar worked him over, and again took him to his feet, lined him up for those ropes again, hurled him in, and as he came off, he catches a bear hug. And this is the favourite and officially hold of Zar, and the submission fall was awarded to Zar.
Coming to New Zealand in a few weeks, the Mighty Midgets, led by the popular and spectacular Coconut Willie. But during his last visit, he was really loved by the fans.
Little Tokyo weighs in at 96 pounds. Coconut Willie, 98 pounds. 3 pounds heavier. And an arm drag. Oh, beautiful arm drag there by Coconut Willie. Side headlock applied. Little men, but certainly worth their weight in gold, the rest they put in to their wrestling matches. Coconut Willie on top. Those are fist and a headbutt. Headbutt. Little Tokyo goes to canvas. Coconut Willie covers. Counter two. Heavy stomp by Little Tokyo. And the flying bear.
Well, Steve, Little Tokyo hasn't lost any of his viciousness. He was here around about 18 months ago. As I recall, we haven't seen Coconut Willie here. This is the first time. But Little Tokyo in those days was a pretty lively fella. A lot of people here tend to laugh at these fellows while they're wrestling, but look at that. A drop kick, a beautiful drop kick from us. They know how to wrestle. And one of the things about them is that they are so tremendously fast. Their centre of gravity is low, their balance is good. And so there's a lot of movement and a lot of quickness, Steve.
Really, the difference in them is the fact they're smaller. That's about it. Very agile little men. And as I said before, they put in so much effort into their wrestling. And what you said also is they've been so fast. And look at that, the way that Coconut Willie comes off that canvas for that, what would you call it? Nothing else but what? A backside bump, right?
Yes, yes indeed.
And he just leaps in the air, throws him behind into the chest of Little Tokyo, and I'm quite sure that for you and I to get up that height in comparison would be impossible.
I think people react to them in probably an amused way for a start, and then suddenly they find they're settling down and watching because they're very, very clever, they're very fast.
Referee telling Tokyo to break on the rope. Little power-packed men. Brilliant build. Little Tokyo, absolutely in proportion. Also, of course, was Little Willie. To me, Little Tokyo would be one of the most proportioned midgets I've ever seen. A lot of people turn around and, they've said to me that, are you exploiting the fact that they are midgets? But no, that is not the answer. They also have the right to take up their chosen sport or chosen occupation. Boston Crab there, and this dog's helping out Willie has now converted this almost to an Indian deathlock with the hand. All he's got to do is slip his arm through here. Started with the Boston Crab, Little Tokyo, dragging his way to the rope. Two brilliant little athletes, certainly entitled to make their way in life in any profession they choose. And they have chosen professional wrestling.
Well, I would say that one made his ears ring, Steve.
Little Tokyo back in the corner. On top of the mountain. Those are fists to the head of Coconut Willie.
Well, Steve, your son Tony in the ring with heavyweight wrestlers has always looked rather slight, but his chance to look big against these fellows.
This is his night, isn't he?
You reckon he's walking tall in there at the moment?
Yes. Oh, and a heavy bump as Tokyo throws Coconut Willie from the ring. Another 3 on Coconut Willie. 4, 5. And he must be back by Ted, coming through the ropes before the referee gets to the count of 7. There goes the gong for the end of this duration match. The match is over.
The mighty midgets. Hey, they are bubbling personalities, Steve.
They are bubbling personalities, Barry, and also great little athletes. Some of the greatest actions you ever see are seen when the midgets get in that ring and they come up against one another.
And we're going to see them out here in New Zealand shortly.
They'll be here very, very soon.
Well, the whole of the Pacific is talking about the Mongolians. The mean pair whose combined weight is over 700 pounds.
We are the strongest men in professional wrestling. Let me take that back. We're the strongest men in the entire world.
Now, as far as those all-comers go, there are a particular 2 people you'd like to have a crack at. I believe, Steve, you'd like to get back against Steve, and also against Steve Arthur, right?
Right. Steven, whatever his name is, from Hawaii or Samoa, I don't know where he's from. Yeah, I'd like to get them in the ring one more time, and we'll end it completely for him.
What do you guys work out on the weights every day at the gym? Every day of the week?
Every day. We work out 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, whatever it takes. We are the best in both fields, powerlifting and in the on the mat.
And that's it from World Pro Wrestling from the Pacific.
Get out of here! Quit running every time I get out here! Hey!
Take him on a lumberjack match.
Lumberjack match!
Lumberjack match. We got people around the ring. There's no reason for a match like that. I have never taken a backward step in my life, and I never will. You understand that? I have never taken a backward. Don't push me, fat man.
Let me tell you something, big face. If I don't take care of you, Steve Austin will take care of you.
Steve Austin is not going to take care of anybody. You fat man, you want a lumberjack match? Bring your boots and trunks. You bring your boots and trunks. You bring them. You understand what I'm saying? You bring them. It doesn't matter if it's in New Zealand, in Hong Kong, Singapore, San Francisco, Honolulu, Tahiti, Samoa, Tonga, Alaska. It doesn't matter, fat man. You bring them. Nobody's going to harass me. Nobody's going to harass me.
Well, I
but I'll tell you one thing.
Keep you running all the time.
I'll tell you one thing, fat man.
Tell me.
I'll tell you.
Tell me, big face.
You ain't going to be around. You won't be around for a lumberjack match with me.
I'll be around all the time.